Commercial banks create money out of thin air every time someone asks for a loan. They do not lend you from the reserve of other people's savings. That hasn't really been a thing since before the 17th century. When somebody goes to the bank for a loan, that money is issued as debt with interest attached. But the interest doesn't exist. Only the principal is created. That interest needs to come from somewhere else. More debt. This is a closed loop that traps everyone in a permanent system of repayment. Whether or not you personally have a credit card or a car loan, your country is running a deficit. And the only way to stop the system from collapsing is to keep expanding that debt. That means more and more and more borrowing, more financial pressure, more defaults, more foreclosures, and more suffering. That's how the system was designed. It's not an accident. It's called usury. And globally, it is banned across all ancient systems. The Torah banned it, the Quran bans it, the church banned it. Why would the Catholic Church ban something for 1,000 years and then suddenly do a 180 and say, actually, this is not only legal, but God sees your productivity as a moral virtue? Usury is banned because it creates servitude. If you have to pay a mortgage for the next 30 years, you have to go to work every day for the next 30 years. This allows the people who get access to create the money control over other people who need it. That is wrong. That's exploiting the poor. In all four of the Catholic canon Gospels, there is stories about Jesus in the temple and what he says to the moneylenders. In the Quran, it warns of hellfire if you do not stop riba. And in the Torah, it is repeated 3 different times in 3 different ways. Each time, the moral and legal framing is intensified. In today's system, commercial banks create over 90% of all money in circulation. These are private companies, not the government, not elected, not accountable. They are getting to decide who gets credit and who doesn't. And they never create money to meet human need. They only create it when they expect a profit in return. If you're poor, your needs are irrelevant. But if you're wealthy, you can access infinite money. Some of these guys are playing The Sims with motherload on. They have so much money it's meaningless, and they only want it because of power, the power that it brings them, the leverage that you can get in this system if you have money. Money itself is inherently a worthless thing. It's not even a thing in today's world. It is some binary code presented on a screen. It's not even backed by gold anymore. There's nothing tethering this to the planet. This is not a democracy. This is not a public system. This is private control of a population by those who control the money supply. The government lies and says that it's constrained. We can't afford housing. We can't afford healthcare. We have to cut spending. But every day, private banks create trillions in new, fake, debt-based dollars. And nobody is asking them where the money is coming from. They're just typing it onto the screen. And there's no limit. If a private bank can create money for profit, there is literally no reason in the world why a state cannot do the same. Except a state has no interest in profit. But it can create money. It can create money for your care. It could create money to make sure every doctor is extremely well paid. We're already in existential levels of national debt. What's another trillion? The idea of a state budget is a political lie. It exists to maintain control, to keep the workers in their place. It exists to protect the banks. The same Bank of England that now claims to stabilise the economy was founded in 1694 to finance colonization and empire. They never changed the business model. The whole point of it was to issue debt-based finance to colonial extraction. You believe that the British Empire ended, but the Bank of England never stopped trading. It just repackaged. Today, banks issue debt to households and governments and sit quietly in the background profiting off the interest. And when the bank breaks, like it did in 2008, the banks are bailed out with public money. And that money to bail out those banks is created magicked up out of thin air instantly by the central bank. There was no vote, there was no budget, and there was no debate in 2008. 2008 proves that an endless money supply exists, and it is always there available when elites need it. But when the public needs homes or hospitals or clean energy, there's no room in the budget this year. Be realistic. We've just given trillions to the bank. You must tighten your belt. This is structural abuse. It is not economics, and it isn't complex either. It's just admin violence. It's control. There are alternatives to a debt-based monetary system. The state can actually just create free money, debt-free, and give it to people.